North Dakota water protectors resisting the $3.8 billion Dakota Access Pipeline have won an historic victory. On Sunday, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers denied Energy Transfer Partners, the company behind the pipeline, a permit to drill underneath Lake Wahey on the Missouri River, officially halting construction. The pipeline is slated to carry crude oil from the Bakken oil fields of North Dakota through South Dakota, Iowa, and into Illinois, where it's slated to link up with another pipeline to carry the oil down to refineries in the Gulf. The projects face months of resistance from the Standing Rock Sioux in North Dakota, members of more than 200 indigenous nations from across the Americas, and thousands of their non-native allies, all concerned the pipeline's construction will destroy sacred Sioux sites and that a pipeline leak could contaminate the Missouri River, which serves as a water supply for millions. The growing resistance movement is the largest gathering of Native Americans in decades. In a statement issued Sunday, Jo Ellen Darcy, the Army's Assistant Secretary for Civil Works, said, quote, "Although we have had continuing discussion and exchanges of new information with the Standing Rock Sioux and Dakota Access, it's clear there's more work to do. The best way to complete that work responsibly and expeditiously is to explore alternate routes for the pipeline," unquote. Darcy also indicated the government will undertake an environmental impact statement for this section of the pipeline, a lengthy process that takes months, if not years. The Army's announcement Sunday came as thousands of Native and non-Native military veterans gathered at Standing Rock, ready to form a human shield around the water protectors who faced an increasingly violent police crackdown that's cost the state of North Dakota more than $10 million. In response to the Army's announcement, Energy Transfer Partners and Sunoco Logistics, which is slated to operate the pipeline if it's built, issued a joint statement accusing the White House of taking a purely political action and saying the companies are, quote, "fully committed to ensuring that this vital project is brought to completion and fully expect to complete construction of the pipeline without any additional rerouting in and around Lake Wahey," unquote. Well, for more, we go directly to Standing Rock, where we're joined by Standing Rock Sioux Chairman Dave Archambault. Chairman, welcome back to Democracy Now! First, respond to the latest news, the action of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
You know, I think it's something that's historic, like you had said, and it's something that it takes a lot of courage for decision makers to come up and make the right decision, to make the right choice in this matter. And we've been talking about this with the Corps of Engineers for almost 2 years now, and we've been letting them know that we had problems with this pipeline because it not only threatens our water, it threatens our heritage, it threatens our culture, it threatens our environment. We as a people have a right to stand up for this, and so we expressed those feelings from the very beginning. We expressed those feelings with the company. We expressed the feelings with the senators of the state, the congressmen of the state. You know, everybody knew that Standing Rock was opposed to this pipeline because of the threats that it has on our people. And we had a lot of support. So when this decision came down by the Corps of Engineers, it feels like finally, for the first time in history, over centuries, somebody's listening to us. And in order to listen to us, they have to make the right decision. And it takes a lot of courage to do that when you're up against an oil company who tries to dictate to the federal government what has to be done and when it has to be done and where it has to be done.
Were you surprised?
Yes, I was very surprised. Something like this has never rolled in our favor ever. And so I'm just thankful for all the people who gave support, all the people who contributed in one way or another and believed in this and stayed with the peaceful protests all along. And I think that was what helped us over the edges. So we maintained our position. We were peaceful and prayerful. And we try to do the best that we can to build awareness for everyone. And I want to thank you, Amy, for all the work that you have done as well to build awareness.
Well, Chairman, the Army Corps of Engineers denied the permit to build the pipeline under the Missouri, which it needs. But Energy Transfer Partners says now it doesn't need this and that they are moving full steam ahead. They're going to continue building. Is this possible?
No, it's not possible. And if they continue to press the government, they're going to shut the whole program down. They're going to shut the whole project down, and there will be no pipeline. So that's not possible. And the company knows that they need the easement in order to move forward. And so this is just another example of corporate world forcing its hand on a people and on the government. And this has to stop. They have to realize that the laws are there. And if they can start to break laws to force their hand on everybody, they're putting their investors at risk, and nothing will happen.
The Army's Assistant Secretary for Civil Works, Jo Ellen Darcy, said in a statement the best way to complete that work responsibly and expeditiously is to explore alternate routes for the pipeline's crossing. What would that mean, Chairman?
I would say just get it off of our treaty lands. We know within our treaty boundaries what sites are sacred and what is meaningful, what places are sacred to us, and if they just reroute it. And I had a discussion with the CEO, Kelsey Warren, and he felt that if we had the discussion early on, this wouldn't be the final route. But because they put the investors' money at risk by continuing to build without a permit, he has nowhere else to go. So he's going to try to force this project through at this site. But sometime we're going to have to put people before money.
Do you now expect the government to undertake a full environmental impact statement, and what would that mean?
The difference between an environmental impact statement and an environmental assessment is environmental assessment only looks at the least impactful route for the environment. But with the EIS, environmental impact statement, you take into consideration people. And what we have here is a people of the first people that occupied this nation's lands. We were always here before anybody else, and that's something special. That's meaningful. And because we are here, we have every right to oppose this pipeline, because we feel that this pipeline will threaten not only our water but our heritage, our culture, our environment, and we have to say, don't do that to us anymore. You did it to us all too long, for 200 years, and for the interest of energy independence, economic development, national security, we pay for that. We continue to pay for it. So today, we're asking you to stop. Don't do that anymore. And somebody's listening, finally.
Last week, President-elect Donald Trump expressed his support for the completion of the Dakota Access Pipeline. In a communications briefing, Trump's transition team said his support for the pipeline, quote, has nothing to do with his personal investments, unquote. As of 2015, Trump had between $500,000 and $1 million invested in the pipeline company Energy Transfer Partners, although the Trump spokesperson, Hope Hicks, recently claimed Trump has sold off his shares in the company, also invested in Phillips 66, which would be involved with the pipeline if it's built. What about this, and what does this transition of power mean for the pipeline? Could this just be reversed when Donald Trump becomes president?
I see it as an opportunity for indigenous peoples, for tribes to start a relationship with President-elect and help him understand huge opportunity for us, and help him understand that this decision that was made by the Corps of Engineers is the right decision. And you have to, at one time, put money aside and say, what is it that the people want? What is it that we can do to make lives better for this country? Let's look at the years that are yet to come, the 50 years ahead, and find out what we can do to make sure that there still is life here. And so we have a huge opportunity in front of us to help President-elect understand our issues. And I look forward to a conversation. And just like I had with Kelsey Warren, I have nothing personal against the president, nothing personal against Kelsey Warren. I have nothing personal against the senators and the congressmen of this state of North Dakota or the governor. They have to realize that we are here, and we've always been here, and we're not going anywhere. And there are some things that are just precious and important to us, and everybody has to understand that. And we're not opposed to pipeline construction. We're not opposed to economic development, energy independence. Just don't continue to do it and expect us to pay for it. So when this pipeline breaks, who's going to pay for it? We will be the first ones to pay for it. And we've been paying for this nation's wealth, safety, and security from day one.
Chairman Archambault, what happens now at the resistance camps? They have swelled to thousands. You have the Dakota Access Pipeline saying they're moving ahead. What's next?
The pipeline's not going to move ahead. The campers that are there can now enjoy the winter with their families at home. The winters are going to get harsh here, and it's time. You know, they had a purpose, and that purpose was served. That was to help us build awareness and show the support and stand with us. And so today, it's a beautiful day. And every day is a good day, and they have to realize that we're no longer needing the purpose that they set out to do. So, and it's okay. The company will not build beyond the easement that isn't given to them. So they can go home.
Chairman Archambault, you're among the hundreds of people who have been arrested since the resistance grew. What happens now with the sheriff, with the police actions that have become increasingly violent, from the water cannons to the sound cannons to the military equipment? $10 million, we understand, has been spent at least on police activities.
Yeah, what we have to do is we have to try to rebuild relationships that were harmed. You have to understand that I live here in this community. Standing Rock Sioux Tribe is not going anywhere. When this all disperses, the water protectors leave, the energy transfer partners, Dakota Access Pipelines leave, and we're left with the residual effects. So it's important for us to try to continue to establish relationships with the state and with the surrounding communities, and that includes Morton County and the Sheriff's Department. Now, I do believe that there was an opportunity for the sheriff to better handle this situation, and it was an opportunity for this governor of the state to better handle the situation. But the path they chose harmed relationships, so we have to try to reestablish and rebuild those relationships.
Well, Chairman Archambault, I want to thank you very much for joining us from the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation. We thank you for this update, and of course we'll continue to follow what takes place here. What do you say to those who say they're not moving, they don't have faith that the pipeline won't go forward, they're staying at the camps?
They have to pray. They have to continue to pray, and they have to start taking the lessons that were given at this camp. What did we learn at this camp? That prayer and peace is what's going to help us be successful. It's not the violent acts by people that build awareness. It's the moral high ground that everybody needs to take. And if they want to stay, it's going to be at their own risk, and there's really no need for them to stay. They can go home and enjoy this winter, enjoy the holidays, if they celebrate them with their families. And I'm sure their families are yearning for them. So it's okay now. And I understand their mistrust for the government and for this company, because from the beginning, nothing was held to. You know, we asked the company to voluntarily stop, but they wouldn't stop. So I understand how they feel, but it's okay. And the company did not get the easement. And so that's going to be a process, a long drawn-out process, even if the company tries to reverse this, and even if the president tries to reverse it, it's not going to happen this winter. So it's okay for them to go home.
Well, I want to thank you again, Chairman Dave Archambault, chair of the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe, speaking to us from Standing Rock in North Dakota. This is Democracy Now!